believe we have quorum now, so if we could have a roll call, please.
Chairman LaBiche,
Here.
Commissioner Avery,
Here.
Commissioner Bell,
Present.
Commissioner Berube,
Here.
Commissioner Crawford, absent at the moment, Commissioner Goodness,
Here.
Commissioner Javid is absent, Commissioner Macon,
Here.
Commissioner Provo is absent, Commissioner Siggy is absent, and Commissioner Templeton.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, first item is the minutes of the meeting, our last meeting on August 8th, 2022. I'd ask now for any corrections, clarifications, or a motion to accept the minutes as they've been presented.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, the minutes are approved. All right, we'll move into our regular meeting. Our first item is PZ 2022-313. It's a request for a certificate of appropriateness to construct a storage building. The applicant is Matthew Clark, and the location is 2505 Louisiana Street. We'll have staff report.
Good afternoon. Homeowner Matthew Clark requests to construct a storage building in the rear yard of his property located at 2505 Louisiana. This structure will be used for personal storage and visible from the street right-of-way. Construction occurred without the benefit of an approved certificate of appropriateness, and a stop work order was posted July 28, 2022. The structure is made of wood with a swing door. It will have a gray-colored shingled roof, and the roof pitch rises 6 inches every 12 horizontal inches. The shed will be painted to match the main structure. Staff recommends approval of the request with the following conditions. Number 1, the storage building shall not encroach into the 5-foot utility easement along the rear property line and must be in conformance with section 28.03.024 district area and height regulations of our city's ordinances. Number 2, all appropriate permits must be obtained through Building Codes Department. This house is not in the spare survey. This is the subject property. This is the subject property. This is a view from North 9th. You can see the shed through this area. And then this is pictures of the shed. It appears to be in line with the home. I believe that he is present.
All right, any questions for staff? All right, no questions for staff. Mr. Clark, if you'd like to come forward, please state your name and your address for our records, and then you can kind of tell us what you're trying to do.
Matthew Clark, address is 2505 Louisiana Street. Really just trying to get some lockable storage. Just recently did a remodel, had probably $15,000-$20,000 worth of material stolen from us, from me and my wife. So really just trying to get some lockable storage. Need to have this step in order to be able to tear down the garage and rebuild back. That's really my goal here.
All right, any questions for Mr. Clark? Were you just, Mr. Clark, were you just didn't realize that you need to pull a building permit to build a building in the
No,
city?
sir, not in the backyard when it was facing the back of the house.
All right, do you have any problems with the staff recommendations? Is the building 5 foot off your property line?
No, sir, I do have to, I measured, the neighbor's building was 4 foot, so I put it 4 foot. I do have to hire somebody to move it another foot off the easement.
Okay, and you don't have a problem going to get your permit now, so we can get this thing done correctly?
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said you don't have any problems going and get a building permit so we can get this thing done correctly and
No, I
get the...
think I went to the wrong place a minute ago. Second floor?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
All right, any discussion? If there's none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve file PZ 2022-313
Second.
With
with the two recommendations, conditions.
Okay,
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second.
If I can back up for one more question. I just want to verify the second piece, that PC code, the district area. Try to look that up. Best I could tell, it was referencing to height of the building, and then where it's positioning to the, yeah.
Well, you
Yeah,
got-
area.
25 feet, right? It's less than 25 feet. That's just kind of what I want to validate.
I believe that the top height can be 20 feet in height, and then it has to be in district, like the district area in height says that you can be 2.5 feet off the property line. However, you have that utility easement running, so it needs to be 5 feet because you can't encroach into that
Yep.
utility
Okay.
easement.
Is that how big the utility easement is 10 foot?
Right, so we can look at it again to double check, but it looked like it was 10 feet, so 5 on each side.
Okay. All right. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, it'll be approved. Thank you, Mr. Clark. You don't have to stay, you can go. All right, our next file is PZ 2022-314. It's a request for a certificate of appropriateness to install a carport and replace siding on a house. The applicant is Alma Hernandez, and the address is 2369 Liberty Avenue. Staff report?
Alma Hernandez requests approval of a certificate of appropriateness to install a metal carport and replace the siding of her home located at 2369 Liberty Avenue. The structure currently has a 2.5-inch reveal in profile and is rotted in many places. Ms. Hernandez would like to replace the siding with horizontal hardy plank, and the new profile would have an 8-inch reveal. Currently, her house has water intrusion, which has breached the sheetrocks in areas. She intends to paint the siding to match the existing color scheme of the house. Her brother has agreed to supply the materials and complete the work free of charge. Additionally, Ms. Hernandez requests to install a metal carport on the east side of her house, located to the very southernmost end of her driveway. This would be visible from the street right-of-way. Section 28.03.018 G1A of the Historic Cultural Landmark Preservation Overlay District states that prefabricated metal accessory buildings are permitted if they are completely screened from view from any abutting street. Staff recommends denial of the request to install a metal carport and approval to replace the siding of a house with the following conditions. 1, all work must be completed by a contractor bonded with the City of Beaumont. 2, must receive an issued building permit which satisfies planning and building code requirements prior to construction. This house is not listed in the spare survey. This is the subject property. This is the area to the side that she intended to install the metal carport. This is the existing siding. This is what's proposed. And then that's the picture of the metal carport that I was provided. I do believe that she's in the audience.
A question, the carport that you're showing, that is located where right now? That's to be moved to,
I
she wants to
believe-
move it to her place? Is
I
that
believe
correct?
that's her
Should be a
brother's,
cul-de-sac,
and it
we
will
can
be
answer.
moved
Okay.
to her place.
Okay.
But she can correct me if that's wrong.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions for staff? Is there a reason why staff would approve an 8-inch wide siding to replace a 2.5-inch wide siding?
So all the area around has anywhere from the 6-inch reveal to an 8-inch reveal.
We're talking
in the
about other
surrounding-
homes in the
Yes,
area?
Yes, in the immediate vicinity of that area. So that's why we felt that it would be fair.
Okay, any other questions for staff?
Is they just gonna patch, or are they gonna replace all the siding on the house?
I believe the intention is for the full siding.
Can you
Alright,
show
Amy.
the front picture again.
All right. Any other questions for staff? All right. Ms. Hernandez, are you here? If you would, just come forward and give us your name and your address for our records and tell us what you're trying to do.
My name is Alma Hernandez. I live at 2369 Liberty Street, and I am planning to replace the entire siding on the front of the house or in whatever sides that are messing up. The materials are free from my brother and the labor. I am a single mother of 3 with no child support, so I cannot afford a bond contractor. That's why my house is the way it is. I know it doesn't look that good, but I just can't afford anything right now to pay for a contractor. That is way out of my budget. Another thing that I want to address to you is the metal carport. My plan at the beginning with the advice that I was told that I had to put shingles on it, and it had to be 5 feet from my property line. As you can see, my driveway is not very wide. It is very, very thin and short. So my brother told me that my carport will be very, very small. I will have to maneuver and to park really close to my property in order to put my car inside. So he offered me his carport, which is free. And as I was doing some Googling and driving around my neighborhood, I found a few carports, metal carports, that have not been in my neighborhood since 1991. I have pictures from Google satellite maps. This one is on Liberty Street. This picture was taken in 2015. As you can see, the carport is not there. And then I Google another year, 2011, the carport is not there. 2008 is not there. So it was not built prior to 1991. But as you can see, this picture was just taken this year. And they have a metal carport. And it's just a few houses from my house. Then on Laurel Street, I found the exact same carport that my brother is willing to give me. They have it at the end of the driveway, just like I want to have mine. I don't want to have mine on the front of the house. It's going to be at the end, just like this one. Again, I did my research. Google Maps in 2008, the carport is not there. 2011 is not there. And then 2016 is not there. But I took that picture just a few weeks ago and it's there. I have many other pictures, and I don't want to get neighbors in trouble because I don't know their situations. Maybe they are broke just as I am. Maybe they're single parents. But I have neighbors building carports on the back of their houses. Just don't ask me how I got this picture. But it's metal. It's a metal roof, and it's on the back of a house. And I just don't seem fair, that I'm paying taxes just like everybody else. What they did, some of my neighbors, like this house, there was not a room. As you can see here, this picture was taken in 2011. And then on this picture, she has built rooms behind her house. No permit that I am aware. Maybe she has, I don't know, but I don't think so. Because I have my neighbor here. She's been longer than I have been in this neighborhood. And these rooms, they were not there. So this picture was just taken today. And what they have done is just put like a door, like a gate, wood door, so nobody can see what they're doing on the back. So that is, one of my things that are bothering me, that we know we are in this neighborhood. I didn't know that it was historical when I bought my house. I find out when I want to, try to fix it, and I came here, and that's when they told me that it was historical and that I had to follow the rules. If I knew, I wouldn't buy the house because, like I say, I'm a single mother. I have 3 kids, and it's really hard for me to fix it on my own. Or all I have to rely is just friends and my brother. My dad is elderly, he's sick, My mom just passed recently, so I have nobody else. So, I found another house. This is what this house looked like in 2016. And this is what it looks like today. I don't know how this
Ms. Hernandez,
is approved.
I appreciate that you've done your research on those other houses, but we don't have any information on why, when, where, or those things. So we have to look at what the regulations are for your house, and we can only look at your house.
I understand that,
and-
sir. But like, I want to be treated fairly and, as everybody else, because we are all there and we are all paying taxes. Now, I'm willing to do what they have done, like put a door like this one, so you won't have to see my carport. But I cannot afford a shingle carport, and it's not gonna do me any good.
Well, if you put the carport behind your house or behind that fence, then you will meet the requirements of not being able to see it from the street. You don't have streets on either side, you don't have
No.
a street behind you. So if that carport went behind that fence that's there, then you could have that carport there. Because
Okay.
it's not visible from the street.
I was not intended to put it on the front of the street. I wanted to, like I say, like they have done, they put this.
We can't, Ms.
doors.
Hernandez, we can't judge you and ignore what the requirements are for the neighborhood. We can only judge you, not what anybody else did. And we have some requirements for carports, and they have to be followed when you come in front of this group. We can't say, well, just forget about that requirement.
But nobody else has followed the rules except me.
I'm sorry, Ms. Hernandez, I don't
Maybe it was
know.
my bad to come here and ask. Maybe I should have done like everybody else, but I'm not that kind of person. I like everything legal. And I want to have everything in hand in case somebody come and ask me, okay, here's my permit, I got it approved. I'm not that kind of person. That's why I came here from the beginning.
Well,
But I just
I'm
wanna
trying to
treat it
help
fairly.
you be able to do this using the rules that we have in place. So I'm telling you, if you're gonna use that pre-made carport and you go in and put it behind that fence, that's in your backyard, and we can't see it when the gates of the fence are closed, we can't see it from the street. So you can do it that way. But you can't put that carport on the side of this house.
Okay,
It has to go behind that fence, or it has to go in your backyard. It could go behind your house if you wanted to put it behind your house.
okay. So can I put, like, as you can see, my house has already a fence, a wood fence on
Right.
the very, very end. So can I move that fence a little bit closer? A little bit far, not farther, but closer?
What's our requirements on fences?
Like closer towards the street, or are you
Yes.
talking about closer towards the house?
Closer to the street.
Okay, closer to the street, if you wanna keep it at that level,
Mhm.
then that would have to come before the HLC. So typically, whenever it's at the side of the house, when it comes down into the front yard, it has to taper down to 4 feet and then extend. But if you wanna take it, I believe that looks to be 8 feet
Yes,
of a
it
fence,
is.
an
Mhm.
8-foot fence. If you wanna take it all the way, then it would have to go before y'all for approval.
So would I have to come back here again and fill out an application?
I guess her question and my question too is there some distance between where it is now and all the way to the front that it could still be that 8 foot? Like how close to the street can it be and still be the 8 feet?
Sure. It can come up all the way to your property line, no further than your property line. Everything has to be on that or on your private side. However, you would have to take into consideration, if a neighbor is backing out of their driveway and they can't see either way to pull out onto the street, then we would have to.
As you can see, my steel fence, it let them see very well. I'm not saying that I'm gonna put it all the way through the steel fence, but probably where the wood fence is.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, is that it can come up to, like, as far on your private property as you would like with their permission. But you have to keep in mind with however far you're bringing it up, if, let's say, a neighbor calls in and they're like, I can't see backing out of my driveway, then I would have to put that into Public Works notice so that they can go out there and do basically a study.
But she just said
I'm not gonna do that.
She's not
Well,
gonna,
that's what I'm saying.
If you
though,
don't go past the end of your
I'm not
wood
gonna go past
fence,
that fence, sir.
then-
No.
You're okay.
yeah.
Okay, so can I do that now? Can I request that now, or I have to go through this whole process again?
It would have to come before as a separate agenda item, but I do want to put the point across that even though it's your private property, you can propose to bring it up. I just want you to make sure that if a car is backing out, because it may have to be removed if a
I
car is backing.
understand, and I already told you it's not. It's just gonna be way before that, a steel fence, and it's very clear, everybody can see that.
I'd keep it back from the front of your house,
Yes, sir?
from the front wall of your
Yeah.
house. If it's from there back, you're not gonna impede anybody backing out,
Exactly.
because they couldn't see past your house
Mhm.
anyway. So
I
if it-
understand,
if it
yes, sir.
stays at your house.
Mhm. So
Yes, ma'am. If you, yep,
I will have to do this all over again.
that's right. It would have to be
For
a
the-
separate.
for- Just for the door.
It would have to be a separate agenda item so that you guys can rule on it because it's not presented in this case. But that's something we can certainly do.
we could put it
We
on for
can't,
next
and
month.
we
so that
can't
she-
make a
Sure.
motion
Very-
for that.
Ma'am?
Okay.
Yeah, the carport's not the, you know, I think she's gonna work on your siding first before you do the carport, is that correct?
Well, I already have all the material. My brother was fixing his house in Winnie, and he have all the leftovers that I'm gonna use on my house. So, the carport is just have to be moved. That's, And one more question about what it says here, that it has to be completed by a contractor. I already stated that it's not gonna be by a contractor because I cannot afford a company.
It's a bonded contractor, so your brother can go up to building codes and pay, what is it, $50?
It would be done through like an insurance. But basically you would provide that certificate of liability insurance to building codes. We would put it on document and they would basically bond your brother if he has that insurance. But building codes on the second floor can help with that.
So how much am I looking at?
I'm not the insurance company, so I'm not sure, but I know that that's the process.
So if it's not my right to fix my own property?
It would, as long as you're the property owner, you can pull a building permit as long as you're doing the work.
I'm a woman.
No.
I cannot even carry one of those hardly myself.
If you go to the second floor and ask for building codes, speak with Lindsay Gilbreth. She's our permit coordinator. She would be able to help you through that. It may be so the reason for a bonded contractor is so that if anyone gets hurt on property while, anything's going on, then there is a insurance that could cover that. Now, if you pull it as your, as a homeowner, then that could happen. You would just need to make sure that you get with Lindsay Gilbreth or any of the clerks on the second floor.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, any other questions, homeowner? All right,
I just wanted to say I pass your yard all the time because I walk in the neighborhood and I've always noticed you have a very nice front yard.
Mm-hmm.
all right. I'll entertain a motion.
Okay,
Well, we never got to discuss the siding, which was my big concern. That's a 713 or is that a 703? The double drop, teardrop siding that's on there now, and she wants to go back with the 8-inch.
Right, it's a 2.5-inch reveal
Yeah.
that's on the house now.
I would like to see it go back to the original siding, So I would make a motion to deny the siding.
Some clarification from staff. Can you go over that again about the reason you said okay on that?
Yeah, so the surrounding houses out there, they have anywhere from a 6-inch to an 8-inch reveal siding, and that's a horizontal siding. So it would be consistent with the neighborhood or the immediate vicinity. Now, I do know that this proposed hardy plank, that size, is leftover material, and it is free because her brother is going to install it. Now, that's one of the reasons that I put that in there, is just to keep that in mind. However, it is consistent with the surrounding area.
Yeah, I went and looked at all the houses down the street, and they've all had their siding replaced.
With
I
the
mean,
larger,
Yeah, with 6 to 8 inch.
and she's already
down-
got the material.
Down both sides.
Okay.
Um,
Are you saying with your motion? I'm gonna vote against you.
Teresa
Well-
started to make a motion.
Well, it could be
Mr.
my
Byrd,
motion
you
can
finish
be
his thought.
denied.
Maybe
What is your motion? You had the floor first. What's your motion?
To deny the 8-inch hardy board siding.
And
That's it. On the carport, you know, that would be, to come back up at future meeting, because that wasn't, we gotta get clarification on the fencing.
okay, but
Can we
there's
vote on the
there's two
carport
other
this time?
there's two other items on here. So
Yeah,
Let me look at
So it would have to be in full. So you can vote to approve or deny the carport, approve or deny the siding, and you can even change conditions, if you would like, or place conditions. But it would have to be ruled together.
okay.
But the motion could die.
Did anybody second his motion?
exactly. So we find out what the motion is first, and then we can go from there.
Okay.
I motion to deny the 8-inch hardy board siding, and to, if I can find this.
Yeah,
There's paper
here you go.
copy right there. Sorry, we're in deliberation now.
Because it sounds like to me, she's not gonna side the whole house, just the front and 2 sides, or as much as material as they have. So I'm thinking it's gonna be more of a patchwork, so I am gonna say deny on the siding and postpone for a recommendation on moving the fence forward on the
Well,
property
real quick,
line.
the motion, the fence is not on the agenda, so we
Okay.
can't move on that.
Okay, and then deny on the carport.
All right, is that the motion?
That's my motion.
Okay, so we have a second? All right, without a second, the motion is not, didn't move forward, so I'll accept another motion.
I'd like to make a motion on PZ 2022-314 that we deny the carport at this time and approve the replacement of the siding of the house.
Can we stipulate in that motion that at least all of the front is the same? I mean, if she's gonna do the 8-inch, I agree with John on that part. I don't want it to be partially 2.5 inch and partially 8 on the front.
Yeah, my understanding was that the whole front was gonna be
The
replaced.
whole front's gonna be replaced? Okay. There's enough? As long as the front, okay. Then,
Okay, yes,
thank you.
so that's my motion.
All right, we have a second?
I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
A question, I'm back on the carport. So your motion is to leave the carport out, correct?
Yeah, I
And
think at
then-
this time we have to deny it because it would be visible from the street and that's against the rules, the way things are right now. That's my understanding.
And she
Okay.
can come back.
Okay.
Yes, and probably rectify that with whatever she's gonna do later.
Got it, okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, we have one opposed, everyone else approved. All right, Ms. Hernandez, that'll help you move down the road with getting your house siding put up. And then, when you decide exactly where you want to put your fence, and we can come back and do that. It'd be fairly simple. Everybody knows what your situation is, so. Thank you very much.
Ms. Hernandez, if you have time, I can meet you at the second floor. We can go over the building permit process and make sure that you have everything.
All right, we'll move on to our next file is PZ 2022-343. It's a request for a certificate of appropriateness to install a fence. The applicant is David Bradley, and the location is 2214 Angelina Street. Staff report.
David Bradley requests permission to install a wood privacy fence to the property located at 2214 Angelina Street. The fence will be 6 feet in height and opaque. Mr. Bradley wishes to extend the fence along the eastern property line and end at the southeast corner of the lot. The proposed fence will not taper. He expressed the fence would allow privacy, comfort, and security for occupants of the newly constructed home. Section 28.03.018 G1C of the Historic Cultural Landmark Preservation Overlay District states a fence in an interior side yard must be located no further forward on the lot than the front of the main building. Additionally, section 28.03.018 GB states within a front yard no solid fence or wall shall be erected to exceed a height of 4 feet. In no circumstances shall a solid wall or fence located in a front yard exceed a maximum of 6 feet. Staff recommends approval of the request with the following conditions. Number 1, installation of the fence shall not create a site obstruction to cross traffic. Number 2, all parts of the fence must be installed on private property. This property is not in the spare survey. This is the subject property. This is the property line they intend to bring the 6-foot fence down to. And then this is a site plan. So this portion has already been installed because it's allowed outright. And he's received permission on the certificate of appropriateness. And now he's requesting permission for this portion right here. And Mr. Bradley is here.
And the extent of that fence coming towards Angelina Street stops at the corner of his property?
Yes,
And it's a 6 inch a 6 foot or 4 foot?
6 foot.
Okay, and just to go back again, is it okay to be a 6 foot or does it have to be a 4 foot?
So it says that it can't be any higher than 4, but then it also comes back and says that at no point will it ever be higher than 6 feet.
Okay, so it has to be at least 4, but it can be 6.
With permission from you guys.
Okay.
Can you go back to the main picture, please? So it's going to go along the tree line?
Yes,
Can you go to the next picture?
Yeah.
yes.
That one?
So it'll
line.
be connecting from the fence that's over here, that's closing off the side, and then coming down to here.
Wow.
Somewhere in here will be right about the property line. That'll be up to whoever you hire to find that
Corner.
property line.
Because I
But
guess the same thing would apply here. It couldn't, if it came further, it might impede
it
traffic.
could. You know, speaking with the traffic engineer, he recommends that it be at least 10 feet, from here out. That way that, a full car can come into their apron and see both ways.
You had a, drawing with like some dots. So what is that, the lot corner, I see there's an X, but then there's like a little, asterisk go up. What is that?
So the finished side. So it looks like the finished side's going to be on this side, and then the unfinished is going to face the tree line.
Okay.
So he wants to go from there to there.
And go back to that second picture.
lot of privacy fence.
So he wants to go from there. He's already got this in the back.
Are there other, wood fences that come that far into the front yard on that street? I see brick and iron down the street. I mean,
I can't personally recall any. Shay, are you aware of any? Okay. But I know that, like you see in this picture a little further down here, it looks like that's probably wrought iron with brick columns.
But a wood fence is approved in our ordinance.
It's approved to taper down at 4 feet. It would need permission from y'all to remain at that 6 feet all the way down. But at no point can it be higher than 6 feet.
Okay.
And I have a question about the sidewalk. Is that a sidewalk there, but I don't see the sidewalk on this lot? Is that what I'm seeing further in the background in those lots with the sidewalk?
Oh, yeah.
And it just seems like it goes away. Yeah.
That's something I can look at. This is a fairly new home. If there is a sidewalk over here, they may need to connect. But I can look at that. I can investigate it.
That'd be building codes wouldn't issue a permit.
It
Usually they
It
wouldn't
wouldn't.
issue a permit if it's required to have a sidewalk.
we will find out.
I just recall there being an issue about that on one of the streets. Maybe last year we talked about sidewalk needing to be
Put
replaced.
back in place, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, any other questions for staff? If not, Mr. Bradley, would you like to come up and tell us what you're doing?
My name is David Bradley. I'm at 2165 North Street. I am a property manager representing the owner who lives in New York, and he wasn't going to make the trip. This is new construction. This is one of two identical houses. There's another one on the next block of Angelina, and we are thrilled to see new construction in that neighborhood. The developers reached out to me with clients that were looking for property management. They're selling these homes. They're entry level, 3-bedroom, 1 bath. I've discovered that they're of a nice quality on the construction. They have plans to put another 75 units here in Beaumont and are looking for good lots in good neighborhoods to start these homes. The reason being that we put in the fencing is the developer did not provide any clearance on the lots or any fencing, so we're putting that in for the owners after the fact. What you don't see in this picture is what's on the other side of that hedge, and that's the reason for the application. And if you availed yourself to maybe drive by the site, you would discover that the neighbors enjoy their barbecuing and their beer drinking early in the morning, and they like to do it right up on that sidewalk in the front yard rather than their backyard. So we're just trying to provide, we're having a little difficulty marketing the property because of that problem and getting a tenant in there. So regretfully, we really don't want to spend the money to put in that fence, but for the safety and security and the comfort of both parties on either side who feel they have a right to enjoy their property, we'd like a privacy fence.
Is this property for lease or for sale?
For lease. They purchase these. These are entry level. They marketed at like $145. They're 1,050 square feet.
What is it leased for?
These poor investors were promised a little bit more than what they're worth, and they're sobered up now. We've got it listed at $1,300. I suspect it's going to go for about $1,150, $1,200. But they didn't fly down from New York to look at it either before they closed.
Of course.
Well, we know how that happens.
I'm all for the fence, and we had a similar situation at a rental property we have on Gladys, and we had to extend our fence a little, kind of for the same reasons. I don't know how many feet, but I don't think it should be as close to the street as is proposed, but I don't know how.
Well, the property line, the marker where we want to run, and you need to drive by it. I mean, they park their beer cans right there on the corner of the property line. If there was a sidewalk, the actual property line is inside the lot from the sidewalk. So it meets the 10-foot requirement easily.
Sidewalks in this area, any road that is not a TxDOT right-of-way, sidewalks may be placed in our right-of-way.
Yeah.
So it should not, if it were to be extended, it should not impede a sidewalk.
No. I mean, at $20 a foot and running 50 feet, we'd really not wanting to spend the money, but we need to.
And I just wanna keep in fairness to what we just told the
Yeah,
lady that was
I
here.
agree, I think it's too far. The fence is too close to the imaginary sidewalk.
Well, go back to the back picture. You see where the hedge is? The very
And
southern end of that hedge, the property line, that's just about to where the sidewalk would be. So it's the actual, if you look in, you'll see the larger tree, the first little set of trees, and then there's a larger trunk. The property line is just to the right of that trunk.
and that's about where the fence line would end.
The what?
That's where the fence would end.
Yeah, that's where the fence would end.
About the larger tree, is that a pole behind it, or is that just
Yeah,
a
there's
small
there's
tree?
an old fence pole there. It will extend just beyond that to there,
Where's he pointing
to the inside, to the right of that
Looks like this is the
Go
marker.
over to the
whatever.
right.
is the property line. We have a survey, so we know where the corner of the property is.
to? Oh,
There's the corner.
okay.
So if you look to the bottom of the tree to the right, you can see
Yeah.
the little marker sticking up right there. That's the corner.
The flag.
So it's about another
It's got to be.
6 or 8 feet to the end of the.
It's got to be 15, 20
Hedges.
feet from the curb.
Yes. Yes, it's on, so if you look at the sidewalk and you can make an imaginary line where it would come through that property, it's that side of the sidewalk. So I think that's far enough.
None of you ladies would feel comfortable pulling up in the evening while there's a party going on next door.
Too bad you can't make your neighbors.
Miss Macon doesn't care, she's tough.
That's right.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Bradley? Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right, any other discussion? If not, I'll accept a motion.
I don't have my packet with me, but I don't know the number, PZ 2022-343, that it goes to where the marker is, that it's allowed to go, extend to where the marker is, if that's the property line.
I second.
With or without the conditions?
Which condition? Oh, with installation of the fence shall not create a side obstruction to cross traffic, and all parts of the fence to be installed on private property.
All right, do we have a second?
I still second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, so approved. Thank you, sir. All right, our last agenda item is our Historic District Code Enforcement Report. The hardest working lady in the city of Beaumont.
Alrighty, we have August monthly report. We had 21 new historic violations, 3 historic re-inspections, 2 new JV violations, 7 JV re-inspections, 3 tagged vehicle for removals, 4 new litter violations, 14 litter re-inspections, 31 new weed violations, 100 weed inspections, re-inspections, 36 city compliance inspections, 7 city owner compliance inspections, 1 new general nuisance violation, and 1 new general nuisance re-inspection. That's a total of 227 inspections.
Wow, that's in 1 month? You've been busy.
Hardest working lady in the city of Beaumont. Any questions? We thank you and appreciate the job that you're doing, and I wish that we had you in my neighborhood too, because we make it 200. All right, with that, we'll stand adjourned.